Hi, my name is Anthony Angelino, and I'm a biology student at Georgia Southwestern State University. I conducted my research by performing a survey of carrion beetles on Georgia Southwestern property. I performed the survey to determine the distribution of carrion beetles in southwest Georgia on the Georgia Southwestern State University Bowen Property Nature Reserve. I used pitfall traps baited with raw chicken drumsticks to attract the beetles. The collection of sylphid beetles and other insects would give a perspective on the distribution of carrion beetles in this area. The major genera that were anticipated were Necrophila and Necrophorus, which are members of the Sylphidae family and Sylphinae subfamily of Coleoptera. It was also anticipated that as the bait decayed, more insects would be collected. Carrion beetles are classified in the Coleoptera order, the Sylphidae family, and the Sylphinae subfamily. Carrion beetles feed on decaying carcasses, and because of this, the baited pitfall traps would effectively attract the beetles to the traps, and from there they would be collected, counted, and identified. I expected to collect some of the most common genera and species, which are typically Necrophila and Necrophorus. To start the survey, 3 baited pitfall traps were made and dug into the ground using a shovel. The pitfall traps were checked every morning for beetles and insects, and the beetles and insects that were in there were then collected, recorded, and identified to the genus or species level. The bait of the traps were replaced bi-weekly because of excessive rotting. As you can see in the diagram to the bottom left, the 3 pitfall traps were spread out on the Bowen property so that they would collect different types of species. The pitfall traps were made of 5-gallon buckets. 3-centimeter slits were cut around the outside of the bucket circumference so that the insects would be able to get in. Next, diluted antifreeze was added into the bucket so the insects would not be able to get out, and petroleum jelly was spread around the inner circumference of the trap so that once the insects fell in, they wouldn't be able to escape. I then placed the bucket in the ground inside of another bucket so that the 3-centimeter slit was at ground level. Next, holes were cut in the lid so that I could hang the chicken leg bait from the lid, and it would suspend in the middle and attract the beetles. The results of the survey are shown in the graphs below. 37 beetles of the Sylphidae family were collected over 47 days, and Phasfuga atrata was by far the most common with 29 individuals collected. Also, the amount of insects collected seems to peak as the bait had become increasingly rotten, with peaks of insects collections just before the bait was replaced every 14 days, as shown in the second graph. In summary, the survey was a success, and 37 carrion beetles were collected, which were either Necrophila americana, as shown in the bottom left picture on the right-hand side, Necrophorus orbicollis, which is shown on the top with the orange markings on the right-hand side, or Phasfuga atrata, which is shown down at the bottom right-hand side, and this kind of looks like a black beetle. Also, 22 other insects were collected. These insects were moths, flies, dung beetles, hide beetles, and leaf beetles. The survey indicated that more insects were attracted to increasingly decaying chicken bait because of the peaks in insect collection right before the chicken was replaced. Also, insect collection increased as the weather got hotter from March 5th to April 20th. Another conclusion is that the species collected inhabit different areas of the Bowen property because most all of the Necrophila americana were caught in trap 2 and all of the Necrophorus orbicollis were caught in trap 3. Overall, the survey indicates that Necrophila americana, Necrophorus orbicollis, and Phasfuga atrata are 3 carrion beetles that inhabit different areas of the GSW Bowen Property Nature Reserve.